Well, gamers, it's Jay Dreamer, and today we are talking about defensive strategies for Reign of Chaos, and it takes a village to get it done, so let's jump right into it. All right, guys, so defensive strategies are how we protect our Alliance command centers and our tile spaces from the enemy. So what I want to get into is the grid tiles. So let me show you this real quick. All right, here we go. So what the grid is basically you're setting up a way of extending the area away from your command centers. You want to keep the enemy as far away as possible. So this is a 25 grid system. All right, it basically allows you to take 5 tiles, space them blank off the edge, 1, blank 2, blank 3, blank 4, blank 4, 5, etc. So with 25 tiles, I can take up 11 spaces on a row, and I can do 11 spaces tall. So it takes, it's about 110 squares that you fill up with 25 of your tiles. And if you have 10 people doing this, you have 1,000 tiles or more separating you from your enemy. And that is what you want to do. You want to space it out as far as possible. So if we jump over here and look at our Alliance command center, and you want to take 11 tiles, 11 tiles, and 11 tiles, that puts the enemy down here. All right, so if we're down here with our enemy, so they have to travel all that distance to get to that command center. All right, you would prefer to extend it out to even further. If you can make them go 100 kilometers away from your AC building, you are in a very good protection zone. All right, so with that being said, enemy tiles versus rally points. So the way the enemy can approach you is in the beginning of a total war scenario, they will have to find a 6x6 open grid. And let me jump over to the AC real quick and kind of show you. So if I were an enemy and I was looking at this AC, and I was looking for a rally point, this right here, this 6x6 square, I could set a rally point right there and be within seconds of attacking their Alliance command center. So it's very important that you have a grid system in place that pushes that rally point as far away as possible. Because if they're having to set that rally point down here and then tile all the way to your AC, you can defend. And defending is basically getting in front of them and blocking their tiles, or the tile attacking system is very complicated, so I won't get into that just yet. But rally points. Now, another thing I want to point out is during the war, a lot of times you'll get a rally point set and they'll start coming towards the AC, and they will also run a road as far as they can away and set some tiles over here. The reason why they're going to do that is because ROC lasts for a while, and as long as there's tiles inside of an enemy state, they can always build off of those tiles. So let's just say if these were enemy tiles and the war ends, and over the next couple days they build off of those and they take that road all the way up into, let's say, the green belt, and they build a road all the way over to somewhere close to this Alliance center, they will not need to set a rally point the next time war comes around. They can work right off of those tiles. So getting tiles that enemies have placed in your state out is as important as pushing back the rally point where they can start their tiling from. Those two are very very important defensive strategies. And like I said, it takes the grid. If you work as a team and everyone takes a section and builds out their 25 grid system, you guys will push the alliance rally point way back. And that's what you want to do, is you want to push it as far back so they run out of stamina before they ever get to you. All right, so let's talk about castle placement, okay? So when you are actually building your defense system, the very first week of building, you need tiles. So you put a bunch of tiles in this area, okay? You need to get up to level 5. You need to get up to level 10. So you're using every resource you have access to. When it comes time for that first war, you should have already got all of the basic level tiles that you needed to get up to level 5, level 6, 7, 8, 9s. And at that point, all of these lower level 1 through 4 tiles around your AC1 building, they don't need to be held for resources. They need to be dropped and put into the grid defensive system, okay? And the reason why you want that is, like I said, pushing everyone back. Now, castles, especially castles under C19. So this castle here is a C19. It's likely that they have bolts and dragons. And that means that they can protect themselves from dragon shouts. And that is good because during war, the dragon shout can move a castle out of the way, and then people can either move into that space or they can start tiling through that space. So it's best to keep your castles as far away from your AC as possible, but still ahead of your enemy. So if your grid system comes all the way down here, and you basically have a row of castles in this section, and your rally point, your enemy's rally point's here, you can basically defend against that enemy in this area. Now, giants can be rallied and killed, and that will open up a space for a castle to go into. So you want to clear out your giants, all right? You want to make sure there's no 2x2 grids, and what 2x2 grids are is wherever there is a 1, 2, 3, 4 square space, a castle can go right there. So as long as you have a grid system that takes away the 4 squares, they cannot land in close or behind your defense. Now in ROC2 second season, there is the guardian dragon, or the guardian that has a dragon that can wipe out any castle. I have not seen it yet personally. Here in about a couple days, we're going to find out what that actually can do. And, you know, from what I understand, keep your castles far enough away that if you get hit by either a normal dragon or a guardian dragon, that it doesn't blow up your defense. It keeps you in between your AC and them, but it doesn't allow your defense to fall apart if your castle gets taken out, because it will at some point. Okay, so we've talked about castle placement, enemy tiles versus rally point startings, grid tiles. Now, numbers matter. When you are fighting a war against an enemy, you're limited by how much stamina you have. You're limited by what tile level you can take. And if your enemy has a superior amount of people participating, it's going to be very difficult to defend against them. The grid that pushes them further away from your AC allows less people to be on defense, protecting the alliance center, and you can defend against a much larger troop. Now, numbers matter. So if you only have 10 people participating and they have 30, it's going to be virtually impossible for you to defend just because the sheer amount of stamina that is against you. All right. So do your best to get as many people on at the same time and start with your defensive setup and try and protect yourself as best as you can. If you have enough people, then you can go into an offensive mode. An offensive mode is the best defense, because if you're able to penetrate their tile defense and you're able to start making your way towards their alliance center, they're going to divert people away from their offense to their defense. And that's where you have a chance. If you can get them fighting in their own state, you have a better chance of taking points in their state than losing your AC in yours. Now, keeping score matters. So when you are in the battle and you are under your season and I can't show you because I don't have the total war at this moment, but there is a score that tells you where you are in the battle. So taking tiles gives you points, and if you can destroy someone's command center, it gives you 10,000 points. If you can destroy buildings, it gives you good numbers of points. If you just are fighting a tile war, find the highest level tile and take those. Because when it comes to taking a level 4 or taking a level 5 gets more points. So concentrate on taking as many high-level tiles as you can, and you will be in a better place to win the tile battle. All right, that's defensive strategy, guys. If you are at the point where you're about to go to war, you need to drop all of your AC1 tiles and put in the grid system. You need to have as many people participating in setting up that defense, and it needs to be done before your war time. Work together as an alliance. ROC cannot be won by one person. It is not an individual task or game. At this point, it requires the entire alliance to work as a unified team to be able to set your defenses, plan your strategies, and hit your objectives to win your wars. And at that point, if your alliance has good participation, you will grow in rewards. And that's the number one goal, is to get your rewards up and win. All right, guys, Jay Dreamer, I'm out.